Guys, welcome to Heat Happy Energy. I'm on Tarot. So let's see what is your person's current feelings, thoughts, intentions, all those things about them. But before we begin, let's ask what are your energies currently? What are my viewers' energies currently? Three of Swords, Six of Swords, Hierophant, overall energy, 10 of Swords. A lot of Swords energy here. See, you are, of course, dealing with some sort of pain, trauma, sorrow. You're going through a heartbreak. Uh, your heart is hurting here with whatever has happened. Either there's also a possibility some harsh words have been spoken with so much sword energy here. You are, you're living more in your mind um, right now. Your thoughts are very loud, your emotions are sharp, your sleep might be, lighter than the usual here. So you're dealing with emotional pain. See, Six of Swords is where you're actively trying to move away from the chaos. You are, you know, you may not have healed yet, but you're choosing mental distance here. You're choosing calmer waters, even if it hurts you. Now, Hierophant is where, you know, uh, you're not just moving on emotionally, you're evaluating your beliefs, your values here. Um, what love means, what commitment should look like, what you've been taught versus what you've experienced here. It's like, this is where a desire for something real, stable, and aligned, even if that means questioning old patterns, or traditions you once followed without a doubt, that exists here. And Ten of Swords is the energy of finality here. You're mentally exhausted, like you've reached the end of a painful cycle and you can't carry this story further anymore. But see, Ten of Swords is not just betrayal all the time. This is a moment after resistance ends. So it's like you've you've just released. It's a moment of release, you could say. So the worst has already happened. What comes next is recovery, is what I sense for you, whether you're ready to admit it or not, but that is what it is. Now, if this is resonating with you, do subscribe to the channel. Let's see what are my viewers' persons' energies in general right now. Seven of Swords, the Hermit, overall energy, Knight of Pentacles. As always, very, very slow in life. They could be trying to, you know, um, be cautious about things overall. Um, but their energy is turned inwards here. See, Seven of Swords is where they're protecting their thoughts, intentions, feelings, everything. They're not being fully transparent. For some of you, this person is living in denial of some sort. See, not necessarily because they want to deceive you or anyone, but because they don't trust the situation enough to be vulnerable right now. There's strategy here, mental self preservation. They're choosing what to say, what not to say, what to show, what not to show. And Hermit is where emotionally, mentally they've pulled back. They're in deep reflection, asking themselves some hard questions about their choices, past actions, and where they they're actually healed. So this is solitude by choice. It's not abandonment. So they're trying to understand themselves before engaging with anyone else here. And despite that silence, the pause or the distance, this person isn't chaotic here. This is where their energy is slow, steady, intentional. So that they move carefully, they don't rush decisions right now. So, right now, they're guarded, introspective, and moving slowly, but this is not aimlessly. Let's see what are their feelings for my viewers currently. Six of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, overall energy, Seven of Cups. See, they are, there is emotional distance here for sure, okay? But it's thoughtful distance. It's not indifference, is what I see. Emotionally, they're trying to create peace. Their feelings for you aren't chaotic or angry. They are calm. They're reflective, slightly removed from the whole equation. This shows someone who cares but feels the need for space. They need to regain emotional balance, and that's why they have stepped back. So they think about you, just not in a reactive way here. And Nine of Pentacles, they genuinely admire you, your independence, what you're doing in life. Maybe you are, trying to establish yourself in a certain way, your self worth, and the way you stand in your own self worth. There's respect here. There's attraction too, but it's mature. It's not desperate. They see you as someone who doesn't need them, and that both impresses and intimidates them at the same time. Seven of Cups is where the complexity comes in. Their feelings are mixed. They're unsure what to do with what they feel. This is where they imagine different outcomes, different scenarios, different versions of you, different futures, but struggle to ground these emotions in one clear direction. It's it's not that they don't feel, it's that they don't know how to feel safely. So right now they feel emotionally calmer when they think of you. They deeply respect you, and they are internally confused about what comes next. The feelings haven't disappeared, they've gone quiet, reflective, and a certain little uncertain here. So the energy of someone standing at an emotional crossroads is what I would say here. Let's see what is causing this confusion in their feelings. What is causing this confusion? Nine of Wands, the Tower, overall energy, Three of Wands. Again, see, Nine of Wands is a card where you are exhausted, you are tired, but at the same time, you're not giving up. This energy feels like someone standing, in the aftermath of an emotional storm with tower around it, looking around and asking, how did I get there? And now what do I do about it? There is emotional fatigue. They're tired, not just from this connection, but from everything that led it to where it is. Their heart is guarded because it's been through too much already, is how they feel. Even feelings that are genuine now feel heavy because they're being filtered through old wounds. This is energy of wanting love but not wanting to get hurt again. See, Tower is the core of the confusion here. Something about this connection shook them. It disrupted their assumptions, their plans, emotional structure of their thought process. You didn't just enter their life, you challenged their thought process, what they thought they knew about themselves. And when a connection hits the tower, feelings don't flow smoothly. There is a disruption. There is, they fracture, they reorganize, they demand honesty here. And Three of Wands is where they're trying to reorient or orient themselves towards the future, but they're not ready to move fully. This is a card of anticipation. They're looking ahead, imagining possibilities, but still standing in that space between what could be and what was. So their feelings are confused because they are emotionally worn out and shaken by how deeply this connection has affected them, standing at a point where the future feels open but unfamiliar. This isn't emotional chaos, this is recalibration happening here. Let's see. What does my viewer's person want to do about this connection at this point? Wheel of Fortune, King of Swords, overall energy, King of Cups, two kings. See, they definitely want things to move. Okay, Wheel of Fortune is not a stagnated energy. This is where they want some sort of movement here. They want to change things around. They feel this is a fated connection. They want change, but not forced change. This shows a desire to let things shift naturally, to allow the timing, the divine timing and circumstances to bring the next chapter here. they feel this connection is significant, but they don't want to repeat the old patterns by rushing anywhere. Mentally, they want to approach this connection with clarity and logic. They want to understand what this is, where this is going, and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. This is the part of them that wants an honest conversation, clear boundaries, truth, even if it's uncomfortable, but they feel the truth is important here. They don't want emotional confusion anymore. Now, King of Cups, they care deeply here, okay? They want to stay composed, however. They don't want to lose emotional balance or act on impulse. This king feels, it doesn't spill. So, yes, two kings mean this person is trying to lead themselves before they lead the connection here. So, they want to allow this connection to evolve naturally, think things through carefully, and stay emotionally steady here. Let's see. Do they want to reconcile? What do they think about reconciliation with my viewers? Four of Cups, Justice, overall energy, Six of Wands. See, at the core, this is a card of, if you see how she has her hand raised up and everything. So this is a card of success, victory. You want to overcome the obstacles. This energy is thoughtful, conflicted, but not dismissive, is what I see. It's not a no, but it's not a reckless yes either. See, at first glance, the Four of Cups can look like disinterest here. Emotionally, they are withdrawing because they're overthinking reconciliation, is what I see. They're sitting with their feelings, questioning whether reopening the connection would bring them healing or open certain old wounds or something like that. So there is emotional hesitation, not emotional shutdown here. Justice is where they think reconciliation should happen only when it's fair, honest, balanced. They're replaying everything, the past, weighing who did what went wrong, and whether things could be, done differently, or it could be truly different this time. So they don't want a reunion driven by loneliness. They want one driven by truth and balance. Now, Six of Wands, like I said, they do see reconciliation as something that could work. This is something that brings validation, relief, even happiness. They imagine it going well, being received positively, feeling like a win rather than a mistake. So they're emotionally hesitant right now. Mentally, they're evaluating, but quietly hopeful. See, they don't want to rush back in, but they haven't closed the door either. Reconciliation to them needs to feel right, not just familiar, is what I see here. So, this is someone who wants reconciliation to succeed, not just happen. Now let's see, by when can this reconciliation possibly happen between my viewers and their person? Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, overall energy, Eight of Pentacles, two Knights. Okay, so this is a very contrasting energy. Knight of Pentacles, if it actually even has a snail on it, if you can see the snail sitting right there. So that is the pace of this card. And Knight of Wands is like, this is a bike. So you see the difference, the contradiction here. But two knights being there, it itself talks about that movement is going to happen, but it's not linear. This is deliberate, slow progress with Knight of Pentacles. Reconciliation doesn't happen overnight here. This is where, when they are sure, not when they are emotional. So the timing feels tied to consistency, small efforts, gradual trust building, patience. This is weeks, not days. Knight of Wands is the momentum picks up suddenly. This is impulsive, courageous, action-oriented energy. Once they feel ready, the shift happens really fast. This can be an unexpected message, a sudden urge to reach out, a moment where, fear loses its grip. So, an Eight of Pentacles, this is reconciliation is something that, requires work from both sides, not just one. So the timing really depends less on the calendar and more on emotional effort here. See, I would say approximately first movement could be 4 to 6 weeks, an actual reconciliation or a decisive action between 6 to 10 weeks approximately, and it'll happen very suddenly when you will not even know what just happened here. Let's see if one final question. What would my viewers person tell my viewers if they could say something right now? The intensity of my feelings for you made me scared. I'm healing myself. If I came back to you now, I would hurt you even more. You're always on my mind. See, you are definitely important to this person. You are constantly on your mind, but like we saw, the Nine of Wands energy, that is where this intensity of, their feelings for you, this is where there is exhaustion that comes in. See, it's not because it wasn't real, but because it mattered more than they expected is what is causing this overwhelming energy. And they know that healing is something that they have to do alone. uh, they don't want to hurt you again. They know they have hurt you enough number of times, not because they're not ready to show up in a way where they will not hurt you, is what I see here. And you never left their inner world. You're still there. They, you are hovering on their mind. They still miss you here. See, this isn't rejection. This is someone choosing restraint over recklessness. They care enough to step back instead of stepping forward unfinished. And I think that matters as well. See, sometimes the most honest thing a person can give you isn't presence, it's distance with intention. And the moment you stop measuring love by how close someone stands to you, you start recognizing it by how carefully they chose not to break you sometimes. And maybe this is the time that you also need to take in order to do your healing, in order to see where you want to, sort things out for yourself, in order to stay in that Nine of Pentacles energy that this person sees you in. And that Nine of Pentacles energy is very self-focused. It talks about self-worth, growth, just keep shining in life. So that was the reading, guys. Thank you for watching.